into Gabby Williams, got hit in the forehead, and it caused 2 black eyes. And you can still see some of the remnants of them, and now she's sporting the bloody lip. She is as tough as they come.
Look,
Gabby Williams took a hit to the forehead that left her with 2 black eyes still faintly visible, and now she's sporting a bloody lip. She's as tough as they come. Lexie Hull stepped onto the court against the Chicago Sky with 2 black eyes, came away with a busted lip, and still delivered one of the most resilient performances of her career. But it's what she shared after the game that has fans talking. Indiana's dominance over Chicago, even in the face of adversity, shows why the Fever aren't just quietly making the playoffs. They're reshaping their identity right before our eyes. Think that's impressive? Wait until you hear Lexie Hull's post-game comments. They could easily become the defining words of the Fever's playoff run. That's a W. All you have to do is keep making it out. So how does a team win when their superstar is sidelined and half the lineup is taped up? That question loomed over Indiana the moment Caitlin Clark announced her season was over. She shared the news just days before the regular season ended, saying, "I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season." Clark had been battling a stubborn groin injury since mid-July, one that never healed as hoped. Fans clung to the hope of her return for weeks, but when the announcement came, that hope vanished, forcing Indiana to quickly rethink their entire playoff strategy.
Bow! That's a W.
Made it out. All we gotta do is keep making it out.
Woo! Dubs!
It wasn't just Clark. The Fever have been labeled snake-bitten all season, and their injury list only confirmed it. Sophie Cunningham was sidelined for the year. Sydney Colson suffered a torn ACL. Chloe BBY battled persistent knee issues. And
The
Ari
Fever were
McDonald
also
was out
struggling
with a
as a
broken
team,
foot.
opening
That's
the
an
season
entire
with a dismal
rotation
1 win,
wiped out.
8
Now
losses.
imagine heading into the final stretch of the regular season with your franchise player, your enforcer, your backup point guard, a key forward, and a veteran presence all unavailable at once. Instead of focusing on building team chemistry, the coaching staff was forced to play musical chairs with the lineup in every single game.
Caitlin Clark released a statement saying this: "I had hoped to share a better update, but I will not be returning to play this season. I spent hours in the gym every day with the singular goal of getting back out there. Disappointed isn't a big enough word to describe how I am feeling. I want to thank everyone who had my back through all the uncertainty. This has been incredibly frustrating, but even in the bad, there is good. The way the fans continue to show up for me and for the Fever brought me so much joy and important perspective. I am so proud of how this team has only gotten stronger through adversity this year. Now it's time to close out the season and claim our spot in the playoffs."
Head coach Stephanie White didn't hide her frustration, openly admitting it's frustrating all the injuries that she's had, referring to Clark's struggles over the summer. White explained that the groin injury simply ran out of time. "We ran out of time to be able to do it in a safe way, in a safe manner," she said, emphasizing that Clark's long-term health mattered more than rushing her back for a few late-season games. General Manager Amber Cox echoed that sentiment, reminding everyone the priority had to be protecting Clark's career rather than chasing a single victory. That choice, however, gutted Indiana's depth chart. Remove Clark and McDonald's playmaking, Cunningham's toughness, Colson's veteran minutes, and BBY's range, and suddenly
At the end of the day,
roster
it's
leaves no margin
she's been working
for
her butt
error.
off to be able to
Every
get back,
possession
and
felt heavier.
we've
Every
kind of run out of
substitution
time
carried extra weight,
to be able to do it
and
in a
yet,
safe
on the
way,
sidelines,
in a
Clark
safe
never
manner.
looked like a player checked out of
And
the
you know, I
season.
think
She
we've
celebrated
all been very
every
open and
basket,
upfront with
rose from the bench to
her
give
long-term
high
health and
fives,
wellness is the most
and
important
remained
thing.
visible to the cameras
And
even
you
when
know,
seated.
to
Her
be
eyes
in a
stayed
position
sharp,
that you need to
her
be in
voice
to
cut through
play
the huddle, and she
at
remained
this time of
fully
the year,
engaged from start to finish.
we just ran
For
out of time to
Indiana
get her there.
fans, her leadership remained electric, even without her ever stepping back on the court.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating. Number one, just all the injuries that she's had. Obviously, I wouldn't speak for her, but and the amount of work that she's put in to position herself to be able to play, and then to, you know, have to ultimately make this decision. There's disappointment. There's the obvious frustration that's come with not being healthy really for an entire season. But ultimately, I think the big picture is the most important thing, and those are conversations that we've continued to have. And the message has continued to be that it's not her long-term health and wellness and her being 100% when she's ready to go is the most important thing.
That presence mattered because the playoff picture was brutal. Heading into the week, the Fever clung to 8th place, just barely ahead of the Los Angeles Sparks. One misstep, and they risked dropping out of contention entirely. Survival became
The Fever were also struggling as a team,
Could this
opening the
shorthanded
season with
roster
a
hold
dismal
on long
1
enough
win,
to
8
secure
losses.
another postseason berth? Could they compensate for their missing superstar without losing faith in themselves? It felt less like a basketball challenge and more like a test of will. With that uncertainty looming, the build-up to the Chicago game became a pressure cooker. There was no glamour, only toughness, precise execution, and the ability
The
to
Fever
rise to
were
the
also
moment.
struggling as
For
a team,
Indiana, that
opening the
crucible
season with a
became
dismal
launchpad,
1 win, 8
igniting
losses.
the very spark that fueled their explosive performance against the Chicago Sky.
If a newcomer in Bree Hall plays tonight, lost it on a kick out. Mitchell, oh, she's hot to start. Mitchell finds Dantes, who rolls and lays it in.
That presence mattered because the playoff picture was brutal. Heading into the week, the Fever clung to 8th place, just barely ahead of the Los Angeles Sparks. One misstep, and they risked dropping out of contention entirely. Survival became
The Fever were also
focus.
struggling as a team,
Could this shorthanded
opening the
roster
season with
hold
a
on
dismal
long enough
1 win,
to secure
8
another
losses.
postseason berth? Could they compensate for their missing superstar without losing faith in themselves? It felt less like a basketball challenge and more like a test of will. With that uncertainty looming, the build-up to the Chicago game became a pressure cooker. There was no glamour, only toughness, precise execution, and the ability to rise to the moment. For Indiana, that crucible became a launchpad, igniting the very spark that fueled their explosive performance against the Chicago Sky.
Mitchell, will she add to it? Whips it back for Dantes. Kelsey Mitchell putting on a show here in Indy.
Look at the spin on the ball. Just one dribble over the head pad.
Mitchell's been brilliant on a kick out to Howard. Mitchell bouncing. Howard, the left hand.
And then getting a stop on the defensive end. I know Coach Stephanie White is happy with her team with that.
Mitchell being hounded by Atkins, trying to shake her. Mitchell bounces inside, and Howard gets the roll.
What does 97-77 really mean when you look beyond the box score? It's more than just a 20-point win. On paper, it seems ordinary, but the context tells a much bigger
The
story.
Fever were also
Indiana
struggling
didn't
as a
just
team,
defeat Chicago,
opening
they
the season
swept
with a
them 5
dismal
straight.
1 win,
Times
8
this
losses.
season, winning each game by an average of 24 points. That's complete dominance, almost verging on humiliation for Chicago, and a clear illustration of the gap between the two franchises right now. You might think a team performing at that level would be cruising comfortably through the standings. Not Indiana. Coming into this game, the Fever were teetering on the edge of the playoff bracket in 8th place, just a single game ahead of the Los Angeles Sparks. The margin for error was razor thin. One loss could have pushed them into dangerous territory, with pressure mounting with every game. Instead, they flipped the script, turning all that uncertainty into fuel for their most commanding
The Fever were
performance
also struggling
at
as a team,
precisely the
opening
moment
the
it
season with a
mattered
dismal
most.
1.
Here in the first half. Oh, it's Howard finding Sims, who finishes tight quarters. Howard backing in on Williams. Little shake and bake. And the fadeaway.
And then getting a stop on the defensive end, something Coach Stephanie White has to be thrilled about. Mitchell faced constant pressure from Atkins, who was doing everything to shake her. But Mitchell drove inside, dished to Howard, and the basket went in.
The Fever
Kelsey
were also
Mitchell led
struggling
the
as a
charge,
team,
just as she
opening
has
the
all
season with a dismal
She
1 win,
finished with
8
20
losses.
points and 8 assists, orchestrating the offense with confidence while showing she could balance, scoring and playmaking. This wasn't just a case of her chasing
The
shots.
Fever were
It
also
was her
struggling as a
controlling the
team,
game,
opening the
setting up
season with a
teammates
dismal
and
1
still
win,
putting up
8 losses.
buckets
The
whenever
Fever were
team
also
needed them in
struggling
the
as a
first
team.
half.
7 of them came in the second quarter. Indiana's just been able to hold Chicago at an arm's length here tonight. And Natasha Howard putting together one of her best games of the season.
Missing that little bunny, just the possession before, comes up through the contact, goes straight to her chest. Not a...
Sims finds some space and can't get the roll. Howard charging, tips it, comes down with it, and flips it home.
Right alongside her was Natasha Howard, who tallied 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 steals. She contributed on
The
both
Fever
ends
were
of the
also
floor,
struggling as a
combining
team,
an inside
opening the season
scoring
with a
presence
dismal
with
1 win,
disruptive
8
defense
loss. The
that
Fever were
derailed
also
the
struggling as a
opposition's
team.
momentum.
She is the team's leading scorer with Angel Reese not available. Hull lob it inside. Boston spins and finishes. So far in the second half, it's been one step forward, one step back for the Sky. Boston turns the corner on Cardoso, banks it home, and a foul.
And
The Fever were
scoring
also
didn't stop.
struggling as a team,
Indiana had 3
opening
more
the season
players
with a
reach
dismal
double
1
figures,
win, 8 loss.
highlighting just how balanced their offense was. Odyssey Sims provided quick, dynamic guard play and another dependable option in the backcourt. Aaliyah, Boston, steady as always, contributed inside and looked completely at ease taking on responsibility.
The Fever were
even
also
without
struggling as a
drawing
team,
defensive
opening
attention.
the season.
Good hands there by Williams. Petty powers through traffic and is able to finish. Powers going behind the back on Bannon, muscles her way to the rim, draws the foul, and flips it home, and 1 Powers.
Even Aerial Powers contributed with impactful minutes, adding both scoring and energy that kept Chicago on their heels. That kind of depth, especially with the roster already depleted by injuries, showed that this wasn't just a lucky blowout.
I love watching these players.
Here's Michaela Timpson checking in for her first minutes and banking it home.
It's the stat that tells the real story. 27 assists to just 9 turnovers. That's efficiency at its finest, especially considering how often the Fever have had to shuffle lineups this season. Players weren't hunting for shots. They were moving the ball, trusting one another, and punishing defenses caught out of position. Chicago had no answer. Time and again, Indiana turned each possession into a high percentage opportunity, putting the Sky away well before the final buzzer. Why does this matter beyond the win? Because this victory didn't just bring relief, it gave the Fever control over their playoff destiny. The sweep cleared Chicago from their path, effectively locking in Indiana's postseason berth. And with other results falling their way from Seattle and Golden State, the door to 6th place swung wide open. This isn't luck, it's momentum.
Powers bouncing. Hull. Had it denied at the rim. Looked home free, and I think...
So yes, Indiana won the game by 20 points. But when you step back and consider the sweep, the playoff positioning, and the team's balance, it means much more. The Fever didn't just beat the Sky. They dominated across the board, proving their identity isn't built on a single star. It's built on resilience and execution from the entire roster. At the heart of this new identity was one performance that captured everyone's attention: Lexie Hull. She may not have led the team in points, but her gritty, battered, and bloody showing became the story everyone couldn't stop talking about. What's tougher, playing through 2 black eyes and a bloody lip, or delivering a
The Fever were
post-game
also
quote that
struggling
had
as a
Fever
team,
fans hanging on
opening the
every
season with
word?
a dismal
Lexie
1
Hull
win,
did
8
both,
loss.
still in the spotlight in a game already defined by toughness. Hall entered
The
the
Fever
night,
were also
still
struggling
marked
as a
by
team,
painful collision
opening the
with
season
Gabby
with a
Williams from
dismal
the
1
previous
win,
week.
8
Her
loss.
eyes darkened by bruises that told their own story. She didn't hide them. She stepped onto the court, face bruised, ready to log minutes. And as if that wasn't enough, Camila Cardoso caught her across the mouth in the second half, leaving her with a split lip. Blood and bruises didn't stop her. Hall wasn't leaving that game.
Let's guy, they just got to get into their sets a little bit quicker.
Here's Hull off the Boston screen. She hits. And Indiana is...
I love the way that she's been able to elevate her game.
The youngsters out of South Carolina, who both are having strong seasons, as Indiana has opened up 3 for 3 with Lexie Hull.
That refusal to sit out spoke louder than any stat sheet ever could. When the roster is shredded by injury after injury, when Caitlin Clark is in street
The
clothes,
Fever were
and
also
Sophie
struggling as a
Cunningham,
team,
Chloe B.
opening the
Wyatt,
season
and
with a
Ari
dismal
McDonald
1
can't
win,
even take
8
part
loss.
in warm-ups. You don't win without toughness. Lexie Hull embodied that toughness. She didn't seek sympathy. She laced up her sneakers and delivered the kind of minutes that perfectly capture what this Indiana team has become. Punch back, play through pain, and never back down.
3 points here tonight at 14 minutes off the bench. Turner gets inside, kick out. Holu buries a 3.
And the wild part, this is happening during the best season of her career. She's not a role player just taking up space across the board. Points, rebounds,
The Fever were
steals,
also
assists.
struggling as a team,
She's posting
opening the
career
season with a
highs.
dismal
She
1
already
win,
matched
8
her
loss. The
personal
Fever were
best
also
from beyond
struggling
her
as a team,
arc by
opening
knocking
the
down
season with a
50+
dismal 1
threes
win,
the
8 loss.
year. That's not luck, that's growth. The step forward season everyone waits to see from a young player, and it's happening at the exact moment the team needs someone to carry more than just numbers.
Steph mentioned, whenever she sees you with the 2 black eyes, she smiles in a way because it just exemplifies your toughness. Do you feel tough in these kinds of situations with these 2 black eyes?
I mean, that's what people keep telling me. Every time she sees me, she smiles and then she says, "I'm so sorry." I'm like, you don't need to be sorry. This is what it is. And when I'm playing, like, I forget about it, and then I go and look at the mirror. I'm like, oh shit, he's still there. So yeah, I don't really think too much about it because I don't necessarily feel them all the time.
Yeah, and you're still able to see completely fine.
Yep.
All right.
Nothing's changed.
All right, perfect.
Her teammates and coach notice it too. Stephanie White said plainly that Hall embodies exactly what the Fever strive to be: resilient and fearless. That kind of praise isn't given lightly. It's earned by playing through pain, diving into every defensive possession, and refusing to let a game slip away. Ask anyone on the roster.
The Fever
and
were
they'll
also
tell you,
struggling as a
Hall
team,
sets the tone,
opening the
and
season
it's
with a
not just
dismal
a
1 win,
one-night thing.
8 loss.
Her consistent effort game after game is what holds the defense
The
together.
Fever were also
Sure, her
struggling as a
scoring
team,
has improved,
opening the
but her
season with a
defense is the
dismal
true
1
glue.
win, 8 loss.
Indiana's shorthanded lineup needed someone to hound Chicago's guards, disrupt their rhythm, and slow down their offense. And Hall did exactly that. She was in their faces on
The Fever
every
were also
trick,
struggling as a
taking
team.
elbows and
The
shots
Fever
to
were
the
also
body,
struggling
never
as a team,
backing.
opening the
Down.
season with a
When
dismal
you see
1
why
win,
Indiana's
8 loss.
defensive numbers spike with her on the floor, it's clear. She bothers scorers, communicates nonstop, and never takes a play off.
The resilient, nature of our team. I think one other thing that sometimes goes missed is just the character of these women, right? Especially this group that's been here, that's gone through all of this, and then the ones that we've brought in with O and Che and AP. I mean, these are women who care about winning. These are women who care about one another. These are women who sacrifice every single day.
Then came the moment that tied it all together. After the win, reporters asked Hall about her black eyes. She smiled through the bruises and explained that every day they fight for their injured teammates, embodying the team's warrior spirit. Her message was clear. We play for each other, healthy or not, and these injuries are proof of that fight. That single moment transformed Hall into a living symbol of Indiana basketball today. She isn't just having a great season, she's carrying the story of how this team has reinvented itself. The contrast couldn't be clearer. While Indiana has built a culture of resilience, their opponents on the other side of the court have been unraveling in full view of everyone.
By my rough count, the Fever have beaten the Sky by 12,000 points in their 5 games this season. I'm not perfectly sure on that number, but it seems correct, as they smack the Chicago Sky yet again. Basically, they've already been in a good playoff position, but cement a hold on a playoff spot.
The Fever were also struggling as a team, opening the season with a dismal 1 win, 8
Indiana
loss.
answered that question against Chicago. The numbers tell the story. Before tip-off, the Fever were clinging to 8th place, just 1 game ahead of Los Angeles. After the blowout win, and with the sparks falling to Atlanta, Indiana surged into 7th, holding their position with authority. Suddenly, it's no longer about merely surviving at the bottom of the bracket. It's about climbing higher, perhaps even reaching 6th.
The Fever were also struggling as a team.
Kelsey Mitchell, brilliant once again. Lexie Hull playing through a busted lip after she's played through black eyes, which came from the knot on her forehead, which, you know, is sort of exemplifies the Fever season, the way they fought through things. You got all players on crutches and carts before the game. Caitlin Clark, unfortunately, ruled out for the season. It makes you think what could have been, but what is a smacking for the Sky whenever they face them, and a playoff spot almost assured for the Indiana Fever.
The Fever were also struggling as a team, opening the season with a dismal 1-win, 8-loss.
That 5-game domination now marks the largest point differential in league history between two teams. More importantly, it opened the path forward. This win locks in the Fever's postseason spot for the second straight year. Think about that. A franchise that spent nearly a decade
The Fever were also struggling as a team,
now looking at
opening the
back-to-back
season with a
playoff
dismal 1-win,
even
8-loss.
without Caitlin Clark leading the way. Opportunities are also emerging as other teams stumble. Seattle dropping crucial games, and Golden State facing a tough stretch down the line. Indiana didn't have to rely on help, but they certainly aren't turning it down. When the margins are
The
this
Fever
tight,
were also
every
struggling
break
as a
matters.
team.
Get the brooms out. Get the brooms out. I got my dustpan handy. We sweeping up the Chicago Sky. They are toast. They are done. We gonna hold on to our broom for this entire blog. Listen, the Indiana Fever just absolutely smoked the Chicago Sky. What a win. What a win.
Kelsey Mitchell was brilliant once again, and Lexie Hull played through a busted lip after already battling black eyes from a forehead injury. An embodiment of the Fever season and the way they fought through adversity. Before the game, players were on crutches and carts, and Caitlin Clark was unfortunately ruled out for the season, making you wonder what could have been. But what has been a statement, a dominant showing over the Sky, and a nearly assured playoff spot for Indiana. Credit where it's due. Stephanie White saw this coming. Her message since July has been simple. Every game is a playoff game. That mindset hardened the team. Players weren't focused on the calendar or the standings. They showed up every night with postseason urgency. Now, that approach is paying off in the final week. This playoff berth is more than just entry into the bracket. It's proof that this roster isn't a one-player team. They've built toughness, balance, and trust, creating a foundation that has already
The Fever
evolved
were
into
also
something
struggling
bigger,
as a team,
identity
opening the season
that
with a
thrives
dismal
even
1-win,
without its superstar.
8-loss.
And imagine adding Caitlin Clark back when she's healthy. What looks like resilience
The
today
Fever were
suddenly
also
feels like the
struggling as a
opening
team,
chapter of something
opening the
much
season
larger.
with a